Now, lastly, what I want to show you today in a video is how to make shapes that aren't exactly square or circles. So what we'll do is just move stick person out of the way. You can see that I've got quite a collection here. Again, in Illustrator, get used to just throwing things onto this gray area here. It's brilliant. Just put stuff there, whatever it is, you're trying an idea, just throw it there. If you don't need it, you can delete it later. But for now, I'm not deleting anything. So now let's talk about shapes that aren't in here. So now let's say we wanted to build, let's say, the shape of a house, which is quite a simple shape, but it's just not in Illustrator. So what we'll do is go to the rectangle and just draw a simple rectangle. For this one, I am going to actually change the fill to a lightish blue and actually put a black stroke on, just so that you can see what I'm doing. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Now, again, you can see by habit, I click on the black arrow just so that I can move things around. So remember, if there's one lesson you can learn from me in Illustrator, that is the black arrow is the most important button on Earth. Now, right now, I need the second most important button on Earth, which is the white arrow. Let's click on there. I'm going to click on one corner of the rectangle and just move it in like this. And I will click on the other side and move it in like this. Don't need to be exact. And I can see that my roof of my house is a bit too tall. So what I'll do is just move both lines down like this. Again, doesn't matter if you're exact. We can worry about that later. And what I need to do then is add another rectangle underneath to be the body of the house. So it would look something like this. Now, of course, at this moment, I can just select both, go to object and group, and then they will be treated as one. But you can see that my house, if we're talking about symbols, is really ugly. There's this big rectangle line in the middle of my roof. So in this case, we have to do something a little bit different. We'll select both shapes like this. Now on the right hand side where my properties are, I'm going to scroll up a little bit and you can see this little section called Pathfinder. And that first button there is a really cool button because when I click it, that now becomes one shape instead of two. And in this way, it doesn't matter how complicated your shape is, you can draw little shapes, select them, press that button there, and join shapes together. So you can see that this is really powerful in making really complicated shapes. So again, it doesn't matter what the shape is or what you're thinking or what the reason is, just make a shape, add another shape to it, select all the shapes that you've joined together, go to Pathfinder and click on that first one, and it will join shapes together. And in that way, you can make the most complicated shapes out of squares and rectangles and whatever else you need.